California, AM 1220 KHTS. Your host, Fred Arnold, on the Santa Clarita Valley Chamber of Commerce Business Spotlight. I'm joined today by a doctor from UCLA Health, UCLA Physicians, Dr. Gifty Marie Ntim. Welcome to the show.
Thank you. Thanks for having me.
Absolutely. Now, you specialize in internal medicine and pediatrics, which you're really from the baby to the elderly, right?
Exactly. So basically, we're specialized to take care of the whole family. So from birth, all the way to the grave.
I love the fact that you take care of the whole family, and the family's not separated with the doctor, because a lot of times families histories run together as far as health concerns.
Absolutely. And so, we get to know families very intimately. And also, the good thing about what I do is, as a pediatrician, once, your child is 21, I don't have to send them off. And, we're particularly good at taking care of pediatric patients who have chronic medical illnesses, just because when they get into the adult world, how pediatricians practice is a little bit different. And so they sometimes get lost, fall through the cracks. So we're, a good specialty for that as well.
Love that. I want to talk about the flu today.
Okay, great.
Flu shot.
Yes.
It's flu season.
Hopefully you've gotten your flu shot.
Next week.
I'll hold you to
as
it.
As much traveling as I've been doing. Yeah. So, why should I get the flu shot?
So it's very important to get the flu shot to protect yourself and your loved ones from getting the flu. And actually, the earlier you get the flu shot, the better. So ideally, if you can get the flu shot before October, you're going to be protected, so that by the time it's in the we're in the thick of flu season, you already have enough protection. And things to consider. The flu is still particularly deadly. We still get about 30,000 people dying in the U.S. from the flu.
That statistic is amazing.
Yes, and I will tell you, I did my training in New Orleans. I had a 38-year-old.
Say it again.
I did
New Orleans.
Yes, in New Orleans.
New Orleans.
Yes, and I actually had a 38-year-old woman who is really sad. She only had diabetes, which was pretty well controlled. Ended up getting the flu and ended up, in the ICU and not making it out of the ICU. Wow. So we still have people dying from the flu. You also don't want to take time off work, or have to take your kids out of school.
Well, maybe I could have everyone show up and get it, right?
Right. Yeah. And then also it's just important to protect those who are the more vulnerable ones around us. So the elderly and babies who are not yet old enough to get the flu shot.
So. I think you addressed that as who should get the flu shot. Kind of everybody, but the elderly, the ones that are most vulnerable to get it. What's the difference between a child and an adult when it comes to a flu shot?
Okay, very good question. So typically for we'd start to give flu shots to kids around the age of 6 months, and between 6 months to 8 years, if you've never gotten the flu shot before, if you've only gotten one dose of the flu, we typically give you 2 doses of the flu shot, usually a month apart from each other. For adults, it's just 1 dose. And then for the elderly, if you're over the age of 65, we normally give you a high dose strain of the flu shot, just because, elderly patients don't really mount a good enough response, sometimes. So.
Yeah, I love that, where you can specialize it per the person. This is something that people have talked about, is I got a flu shot, I'll never get it again because I got the flu from it.
Yes, so I'm here to dispel this myth. So you do not get the flu from the flu shot. And the reason is because the flu vaccine, actually, we use an inactive form of the flu virus. And so there's no way you can actually get the flu from the flu shot. However, there are a couple of things to, talk about. So sometimes, even though you get the flu shot, you might still get the flu, because what happens is every year the CDC basically figures out what are going to be the really dangerous strains of the flu, so that they can make a vaccine against it. And so sometimes we might not do a good job at figuring out what circulating viruses will have.
When you say you're so generous and you say we, you're referring to the CDC.
Exactly.
The industry.
Exactly. And
not
so,
you.
Exactly. Not me necessarily, but since I work in healthcare, I'm part of the team. So sometimes what happens is that we might have a flu vaccine which might not work as well, meaning it might, protect us from only one strain, but not the other strains that are circulating in the community. Sometimes also, keep in mind, it takes 2 weeks for you to mount a response when you get the flu vaccine. So if you've already been exposed, the flu vaccine that you got probably didn't do anything, So that's why it's so important to get your flu shot early on before the end of October.
And it's a big myth. I really appreciate you coming and dispelling that, because I believe that was true.
Right, and a lot of people unfortunately believe that. So I hope I've convinced you to go get your flu shot.
Absolutely. I think I'll get it this week.
Thank you.
Yes, absolutely. Hey, when you're in an airplane too,
Yes.
you're susceptible to that, and it's like this giant tube. So
Exactly.
and work and the kids, and so those who want to reach out to you, how can they get you at UCLA Health?
So we're currently, our office is located on McBean Parkway, and we're with the Internal Medicine and Pediatrics group. So you can give us a call at,
Do we get the right number there?
yeah.
Do you have the address by any chance?
It's 25775 McBean Parkway, and my card is actually in there.
All right, well, we'll post that.
Yes,
We'll post that
if you could
online
post
so we
that,
have
that
it.
would be great.
Yeah, and those who want to reach you, they can get you at UCLA Health. Ladies and gentlemen, Dr. Gifty Marie Ntim with UCLA Health on the importance of a flu shot. Well, hope you enjoy this edition of the Santa Clarita Valley Chamber of Commerce Business Spotlight on AM 1220 KHTS.